are going to start the first session of the program called Dvij. In the first phase, I will discuss with the portion of history, and in history I will start modern India. Modern India's NCERT class 12th. I'll show you the NCERT so that you should not be in doubt. And this will be the NCERT, class 12th NCERT, Vipin Chandra. This will be the NCERT. Vipin Chandra, class 12th. There are 13 chapters in this. 13. But once you complete this NCERT, friends, the way I am going to complete for you, once you complete in that way, you will have a very strong ground. I said in the previous introductory lecture that NCERTs teach you three things. Dvij, this is the name of the program, Dvij, and NCERTs RTs are the mother of civil services because they teach you three things: C cube, concept, connectivity, consolidation. And once you do this and you develop a command on it, Vipin Chandra Penguin publication becomes very easy for you. Once you do the NCERTs, friends, I tell you with guarantee, once you will be done with this history portion, I tell you the level of confidence you will achieve. It's a matter of experiment. You can experiment it with me. I will cover up all the NCERTs, but first we will start Modern India. Modern India by Vipin Chandra. Three things I will teach you. Three things I will make you learn: connectivity, concept and consolidation. What is the first chapter? Now, whenever you will start the chapter, first chapter, India in 18th century. Whenever a country will be conquered, that means the country will be weak, backward in comparison to the country which is conquering. So before we should enter into the modern India's history, how India was conquered, first we should see the background. The story starts from here. Now in every chapter what you will do, you will write the key line. The chapter starts from here, you will write the key line here. Condition of India in 18th century. Because these conditions will tell you that how it became easy for English to conquer India. Now this entire chapter will be divided into 4 parts. First part, decline of Mughals. Second part, Indian states and society. Third part, social and economic condition of the people. And fourth part, social and cultural life of the people. Fifth part, very important, education. So first thing you do, and these are the headings in the chapter. All these 5 are the headings. First heading, decline of Mughals. Second heading, Indian states and society. Third heading, social and economic condition of the people. Fourth heading, social and cultural life of the people. And fifth heading, education. Now, we will start with the first heading, decline of Mughals. I was discussing about you that now why to write the line on the top of the chapter. It's basically a remembrance. when you write condition of India in 18th century, once your topic is over, once you say that I am done with the chapter, so you will be clear ki what was the message of this chapter. What was the political condition of this country in 18th century? What was the cultural condition of this country in 18th century? What was the condition of education in this country in 18th century? Means entire picture will be clear. Whenever you start a chapter, give a goal to yourself, which generally we don't do. So we end up with the chapter, but we don't know what we have completed. You watch a movie, Munna Bhai MBBS. When you watch, at the end of the movie, it was clear ki what was the message of the movie. Similarly, when you finish the NCERT, when you finish a chapter, you should be very clear ki what was the message of the chapter. So India in 18th century, it wants to give you the background of the country in 18th century, the background in which the foreign powers succeeded in conquering in this country. So I said 5 headings are there. 5 headings, and first heading, decline of Mughal Empire. Decline of Mughal Empire. 4 reasons. First reason, role of Aurangzeb, which is basically the portion of medieval India. Second, this we have to connect and discuss. The role of later Mughals. Third reason, foreign invasions. And fourth reason, disintegration. Disintegration of Mughal Empire. These are the 4 things which has been discussed in this heading, decline of Mughal Empire. First is role of Aurangzeb, role of later Mughals, foreign invasions, and then disintegration of Mughal Empire. You do one thing. Although this lockdown is going on, so I don't have the entire setup for that. But once the lockdown will be over, I'll draw the diagrams. I have the diagrams. I'll put it on the slide. Instead of making these diagrams, I'll put it on the slide. But till lockdown is there, you have to do it as a homework. You have to draw all these diagrams, so that you should end up with me with these diagrams in your hand. So first heading, decline of Mughal Empire. 4 reasons. These 4 reasons are given in this heading. Role of Aurangzeb, role of later Mughals, foreign invasion, and disintegration of Mughal Empire. Now, we'll discuss these headings one by one. First heading, role of Aurangzeb. Now the NCERT says that the harmful policy of Aurangzeb has already given a setback to the Mughal Empire. So our first point is role of Aurangzeb. Role of Aurangzeb. And the NCERT says that the harmful policies, many harmful policies, not all, many harmful policies of Aurangzeb has already given a setback to Mughal Empire. Setback. This is the thing which you have to write here. They have already given a setback. So, role of Aurangzeb, many harmful policies of Aurangzeb have already given a setback to Aurangzeb. And I am saying to you, please draw the diagrams with me, so that you should also end up with these diagrams in your hand. But then, although many harmful policies of Aurangzeb have given a setback to the Mughal Empire, but then Mughal administration was still quite efficient. This was the first feature. Mughal administration was still quite efficient. Mughal administration was still quite efficient. Mughal dynasty still has respect in the country. So Mughal administration was quite efficient. Mughal dynasty has still respect in the country, and Mughal army was still strong. Mughal army was still strong. That means that although Aurangzeb's harmful policies have given setback to the empire, but chances of survival were there because administration was efficient. This is a crucial point. Administration was efficient. Respect was there. And army was strong. And these are the pillars of an empire. Administration, respect of a dynasty, an army. And 1707, Bahadur Shah. 1707, Aurangzeb died. 1708, there was civil war between the sons of Aurangzeb. And 1708, Bahadur Shah, a young man of 65 years, becomes the new Mughal ruler. Now when he became the new Mughal ruler, he was already facing the big challenges. So Bahadur Shah I was still facing the big challenges. Bahadur Shah I was already facing the big challenges. First challenge, financial crisis. From the time of Shah Jahan. And this financial crisis has given birth to political crisis, series of revolts. These were the two gifts which he has got from his predecessor, Aurangzeb. Financial crisis, political crisis, revolt by the different sections. See, this is what I am saying, a connectivity. Once you have to make the picture clear, you have to go into the background, you have to connect the things, you have to put the things in front and then create a picture. Actually, reading means what? Visualizing. But in the present era, when everyone is running, everyone is moving in a big speed, people don't want to create a picture. These are the two challenges which he was facing. Financial crisis and political crisis. In political crisis, revolt by different sections. Jat revolt, Bundela revolt, Sikh revolt, Maratha revolt. So now his first step was to overcome this political crisis. And then he opts the policy of appeasement for all the sections. This is given in the first page. Bahadur Shah's policies towards all the rebels. First, the first policy, more tolerant attitude. More tolerant attitude towards Hindu Rajas. And they have explained. This is the thing which you have to inbox. More tolerant attitude towards Hindu Rajas. Ajit Singh and Raja Jai Singh. All the facts are given. This is the point. This is the first step towards the Hindu Rajas. Then, Marathas. Half-hearted conciliation. Half-hearted conciliation. He gave the Chauth of Deccan to the Marathas, but he did not give them Sardesh Mukhi. He left Shahu, but he did not accept him as the Maratha king. And one more Maratha power center was there, Kolhapur. So there was all possibility of civil war among Marathas. And this was what possibly Mughals wanted. So more tolerant attitude towards Hindu Rajas, half-hearted conciliation towards Marathas, and then Sikh. Initially, policy of peace towards Sikh. But the stand changes with the coming of Banda Bahadur? Initially peace with Guru Gobind Singh, but the stand changes with the coming of Banda Bahadur because Banda Bahadur tried to establish the first independent Sikh state. And then peace with Jats and Bundelas. Peace with Jats and Bundelas. Chhatrasal and Churaman. Peace with Jats and Bundelas. So this man, although he was facing number of challenges, but this man tries to handle the situation, and this man tries to pacify the rebel groups in Mughal Empire. So Hindu Rajas, Ajit Singh and Jai Singh, then Marathas, Sikh, Jat and Bundelas. But then, although he tried to maintain peace with the rebel chiefs and sardars, but then three things were there. You remember the three words I have given you earlier? Administration, respect and army. And now what happened? Administration started deteriorating. Although he succeeded in maintaining peace with most of the rebel leaders, but a very big development which took place in his period was, this is the thing which you have to remember. The very big development which appeared in his period was, administration started deteriorating. Administration started deteriorating. Why administration started deteriorating? Because of reckless grants of Jagirs. Reckless grants of Jagirs and promotions. And this created financial bankruptcy in Mughal Empire. This was the dangerous development. Financial bankruptcy. This is the point which you have to remember. Financial bankruptcy. When he inherited the throne, British Empire was already suffering from financial crisis and political crisis. He tries to solve political crisis by making peace with most of the chiefs and rajas that I have given you. But then, in order to satisfy all the dissatisfied section, he deteriorates. Administration started deteriorating. This is very important. Administration started deteriorating because of reckless grants of Jagirs and promotions. And then financial bankruptcy in empire. It was said that in 1707 there was 13 crore in the state treasury. Everything was over. And this financial bankruptcy, so this was the grave development which took place during the time of Bahadur Shah I, although he tried to manage the situation. Financial bankruptcy. And this financial bankruptcy gave birth to a new feature in Mughal Empire, that is kingmakers. So friends, we were talking about decline of Mughal Empire, and as I said to you, when Aurangzeb died in 1707, three things you have to remember. Administration was efficient, respect was maintained, army was strong. These three things you have to remember. Keep in your mind. Then I will show you the importance of connectivity. Bahadur Shah, 1707 Aurangzeb dies, there was a civil war. And Bahadur Shah, 1708 became the Mughal emperor. Now when Bahadur Shah became Mughal emperor, he has to handle two things. First thing financial crisis, second thing political crisis. And political crisis was more challenging because there was a revolt all over India. Jat revolt, Sikh revolt, Maratha revolt, Bundela revolt. That was a big challenge for him. So he comes out with the policy of appeasement, the diagram I gave you. And these diagrams, I said, I am again repeating, you have to draw these diagrams. So that finally, you will have the entire chapter in diagrams. He appeases the Hindu Rajas, he appeases the Marathas, he appeases the Sikh, initially Guru Gobind Singh, but then the policy changes towards Banda Bahadur. And he did a peace with the Jat and Bundelas, Chhattisgarh and Churaman. But then administration started deteriorating. Why administration started deteriorating? Reckless grants and jagirs and promotions. Reckless. He's called as Sahib-e-Khabar. This fact is not given in NCERT. I am giving you extra fact. Reckless grants and jagirs and promotions. And this created financial bankruptcy. You cannot run a family without money. Similarly, you cannot run a state without money. State is financially bankrupt. The fact is given in the NCERT. In 1707, there was 13 crore in the state treasury. That was over. Finish. Now when state is bankrupt, you have to take someone's help. So you will see emergence of a new feature, kingmakers. Financial bankruptcy gave birth to a new element in Mughal history, later Mughal history, kingmakers. Now from here you will see the two things, king and the kingmaker. So what is the role of Bahadur Shah? In finally ending the Mughal Empire, he creates financial bankruptcy. Although he controls the situation to an extent, but he is responsible for creating financial bankruptcy. Again, a word you have to keep in your mind, financial bankruptcy. This financial bankruptcy gave birth to a new element, kingmaker. And a kingmaker always wants a weak king. If the king will be powerful than the kingmaker, he will overthrow the kingmaker. This happened number of times. You see the present situation of India. The kingmaker is overthrown. Hundreds of examples. So now you will see a new feature, kingmaker. Who's the king? Jahandar Shah. Jahandar Shah. Who's the kingmaker? Zulfikar Khan. Zulfikar Khan. Now, this diagram you have to draw. Then only you will understand the things. Who's the king? Jahandar Shah. Who's the kingmaker? Zulfikar Khan. Now you see, NCERT has specifically given the nature of these kings. Weak, degenerate, wholly devoted to pleasure, wholly devoted to pleasure, and under the influence of worthless. This word is used, worthless. Every word in NCERT is precious. Under the influence of worthless, flatterers, and favorites. See the background? Empire is in financial crisis, empire is in political crisis, empire is facing financial bankruptcy, and the king is weak, degenerate. wholly devoted to pleasure. Under the influence of worthless favorites and flatterers. So the entire task was now in the hand of Zulfikar Khan. He is the real power now in Mughal Empire, Zulfikar Khan. And he has two targets. First targets to satisfy all the groups, especially the rebel groups. The first thing you will see the NCERT says, friendly relations. Friendly relations with Rajputs, Marathas and Hindu Rajas. Friendly relation with Rajputs, Marathas and Hindu Rajas. That was the necessity of the time. And second thing, attempt, see the word attempt to improve the finances. Two tasks, finance and polity. The first thing, friendly relations with Rajputs, Marathas and Hindu Rajas. And for this what he did, NCERT mentions, he reverses the harmful policies of Aurangzeb, he abolishes jizya and all. Banda Bahadur was the exception. Banda Bahadur was the exception of this friendly policy. He was the exception. Otherwise he maintained, and to maintain it, he eliminated all harmful policies of Aurangzeb, especially he removed jizya. Attempt to improve finances, attempt. Ijaradari. These people were not having the time to go for revenue reforms like Akbar and Sher Shah. Empire was collapsing. They have to collect the money at any cost. So, friendly relation with Hindu Rajas, Rajputs, Marathas, Banda was the exception, in which the most important step was removal of all the harmful policies of Aurangzeb. In example, removal of jizya. An attempt to improve finance in which the most important step was Ijaredari system, revenue farming, which was again painful for the farmers, harmful for the farmers. But now what happened when Zulfikar Khan became the main power? Now see, pay attention. When Zulfikar Khan became the main power, so there were many group of nobles in the court. Hindustani nobles, Irani nobles, Turani nobles, Afghani nobles. And now this man is controlling the emperor and the empire. So every ambitious noble got inflated. If this man can do, we can also do. So you will see a new development after this. From here you will see the next development. Power struggle between the nobles in the court. From here start the power struggle. Now the nobles start, fine, we can also become superpower. We can also become so much power. What they have to do? They have to take a Mughal prince. They have to stand behind him. Simple. They have to take a Mughal prince. They have to stand behind him. And then you will see the emergence of the very famous kingmakers of this period, Sayyid brothers. They took his nephew Farrukh Siyar, and in 1713 Jahandar Shah was defeated near Agra and eliminated, and Farrukh Siyar becomes the king. But then again a new development, power struggle between whom? The nobles in the court, to become the kingmakers. Farrukh Siyar becomes the king. Now when Farrukh Siyar becomes the king, Farrukh Siyar becomes the king. These diagrams will continue. Farrukh Siyar becomes the king. He becomes the king. Who's the kingmaker? Sayyid brothers. They are the kingmakers. Farrukhsiyar becomes the king. Sayyid brothers are the kingmakers. Now see his qualities. First quality. Lacked the capacity to rule. Lacked the capacity to rule. Second feature. Cowardly, cruel, undependable, and faithless. These words are given in NCERT and they are very important. Lacked capacity to rule, cowardly, cruel, undependable, and faithless, and under the influence of the worthless, flatterers, and favorites. Worthless. Whenever a king should never be under the influence of anyone. He should have the good people around him, Chandragupta, Vikramaditya, the 9 jewels, Akbar, the 9 jewels. King should not be under the influence. You see, Tsar Nicholas II, he is under the influence of again a worthless man, Rasputin, magician in a court. Rasputin is a magician in a court. And when the First World War started, Russia's financial condition was very bad. Russia was a developing nation. Russia was not in a condition to participate in the war. And Lenin writes a letter to Tsar Nicholas II, sir, please, we are not in a situation to fight. This war is not for us. This war is among the capitalist powers for the colonies. And we are a developing, emerging nation. Why we should interfere in this matter? But Rasputin says to Tsar Nicholas II, you know, it's a matter of the prestige of Russia. Whenever Europe was in trouble, we have interfered in the trouble. We have to bother about mustaches. Alright, gentlemen, to save your mustaches, your tail will be wiped out. Tsar Nicholas II's wife was under the influence of this Rasputin. That is why I said history is full of messages. Louis XVI, the French ruler when French Revolution took place, is under the influence of his beautiful wife without brain. Now if a woman is beautiful and with brain, Noor Jahan, she will become a boon for you. Noor Jahan became the boon for Jahangir. But for Louis XVI, Maria Antoinette became a curse. Throughout the day, she used to sit in front of the mirror and she used to ask the mirror that who's the most beautiful woman in the world. And this gentleman used to stand behind her throughout the day and say, Madam you, Madam you, Madam you. And this, if the ruler will do this, in a background when the empire is burning, see the condition of the Mughal Empire, financial bankruptcy, emergence of a new element, kingmaker, and see the condition of the ruler. Sayyid brothers, they were aware. Religious tolerance, a very famous policy, religious tolerance. They went ahead of Zulfikar Khan and they eliminated jizya, they eliminated pilgrim tax. They were basically Indian Muslims. So they tried to establish the rule completely on Indian parameter. Religious tolerance. Then friendly relations. Again, with the Marathas, Hindu Rajas, Rajputs. And the most important deal was with Marathas, Treaty of 1719. Very important. We will see in the next heading when we will discuss the next heading. 1719. This treaty is very important, 1719. It is called as Magna Carta of Maratha history. Sayyid brothers gave the Marathas the thing which they dreamt from the time of Shivaji, Swaraj. And Sayyid brothers were helped to strengthen their position in Delhi with the coming of Marathas. And Marathas, Shahu became the Mansabdar. Shahu became the help to the Sayyid brothers in Delhi. This was a very big deal. Religious tolerance, friendly relation, the most important deal with Marathas. And they tried to improve the finances and strengthen the position. But they made a very good attempt. Very good attempt. They made a very good attempt to improve the condition of the empire. But this good attempt was washed out by court intrigues and conspiracies. I said there were many groups of nobles. Zulfikar Khan became the power. He became the inspiration for the other nobles. Now Indian Muslims are in power. Sayyid brothers are in power. This became the inspiration for Iranis, Turanis, Afghanis. They made a very good attempt to establish, standardize, maintain the Mughal Empire, but court intrigues and conspiracies. And this court intrigue and conspiracies was a very big blow to the Mughal Empire. They made a very good attempt. They made a very good attempt to save the empire. But this attempt was washed away by the court intrigues and conspiracies. And this court intrigue and conspiracies, pay attention, very crucial word in NCERT. This court intrigue and conspiracies paralyzed the administration at all levels. Go back. When Aurangzeb died, administration was efficient. Now what happened? Administration is paralyzed. This you have to make an arrow here and write. So what happened in Bahadur Shah's reign? Financial bankruptcy. What happened in Jahandar Shah's reign? Emerged power struggle between the nobles. What happened in Farooq Sia's reign? Administration paralyzed at all levels. This court intrigue and conspiracies paralyzed. Very important. Paralyzed administration at all levels. And what is the pillar of a state? Administration, army and finance. Financially bankrupt. Administration is paralyzed. Financially bankrupt. Administration is paralyzed. Therefore, financially bankrupt administration is paralyzed. Therefore, this diagram is very important. Lawlessness, disorder, acute financial crisis, acute, and soldiers, pay attention, soldiers became rebellious and mutinous. What was happening? What was the condition when Aurangzeb died? Administration was efficient, Mughal dynasty has respect, and army was strong. Now what has happened? Financially bankrupt. Administration is paralyzed at all levels. And soldiers are rebellious and mutinous. And in this scenario, emperor is killed. Farrukhsiyar is killed by the kingmakers. You can imagine the panicness in the state. Emperor is killed. Rival gang is active. A rival gang of Nizam al-Mulk. Nizam al-Mulk is active. Emperor is killed. Imagine the panicness by the kingmakers. Rival gang of Sayyid brothers are active. Nizam al-Mulk. Sayyid brothers are also killed. King is also killed. Kingmakers are also killed. And then in this background, this diagram is very important to understand this heading. In this background, Muhammad Shah becomes the ruler. Very important. Please make the diagram Muhammad. Muhammad Shah becomes the ruler. In this background, Muhammad Shah becomes the ruler. See the condition of the state. Administration is paralyzed at all levels. Financially bankrupt. Soldiers are rebellious and mutinous. And who's becoming the king? Muhammad Shah. Qualities of Muhammad Shah: weak-minded. You have to make it as it is. I am drawing. Weak-minded, frivolous. Weak-minded, frivolous. Background: over fond of life of ease and luxury. These words are written in NCERT. I have not taken from mine. This is the background. This is the background. An emperor is weak-minded, frivolous, over fond of life of ease and luxury. Neglected the state affairs. Neglected the state affairs. Took the share in the bribes taken by the courtiers. Had there, sir. You are a district collector. Your chaprasi takes 500 from someone. And then you are saying to your chaprasi ki 50 mine also. I also have a share. You can imagine your status. And under the influence of corrupt, flatterers and favorites. Corrupt. One more element, corrupt. Under the influence of corrupt, flatterers and favorites, and was intriguing against his own ministers. Who can save the empire? Connect it. This is the thing which you have to connect. See the background. Lawlessness, disorder, acute financial crisis, soldiers are rebellious and mutinous. Emperor is killed by kingmaker. Kingmakers are killed by the rival gang. And the king who comes in power, this is the condition of that king. He is weak-minded. He is frivolous. This is the diagram which you will draw in the paper and see, keep it in front of you. Weak-minded, frivolous, over fond of life of ease and luxury, neglected state affairs, taking share in the bribe taken by the courtiers, under the influence of corrupt, flatterers and favorites, and intriguing against his own ministers. Sometimes you don't have a capability, but at least you listen to a talented person. And this led to, you will continue the diagram. I don't have a big space here, but you will continue, you will not break the diagram. As I have drawn the diagram, in the same way you have to draw the diagram, and finally the essence. That essence you have to keep with you. And this led to the blast. This led to the blast. And that blast ended the Mughal Empire. This led to the blast. 1724. Nizam al-Mulk moves towards Hyderabad to establish an independent state. And from here starts, this was my last point, and from here starts the disintegration, physical breakup of Mughal Empire. This was the message to all the capable people in the court. Sir, this man is of no use. It's better to leave useless people. It's better. Otherwise, they will destroy themselves and they will destroy you also. And Muhammad Shah was under the influence of corrupt flatterers, favorites, intriguing against his own ministers. And then Nizam says goodbye. And when he says goodbyes, this became the example for the other governors, provincial governors. So from here you will see emergence of independent states. Bengal, Murshid Quli Khan, Awadh, Saadat Khan, Burhan al-Mulk, Punjab, etc. Physical breakup that was imitated by the other provincial governors. Marathas were already aware about this condition. So you will see beginning of Marathas movement towards north. Maratha movement towards north. 1737, Bajirao I comes into Delhi and roams for a week without being interrupted. No one stopped him. This was the message to the Peshwas. There is no one in Delhi. And then the final blow to the coffin, Battle of Karnal. 1739 and Battle of Third Panipat, 1761. And this was the end of Mughal Empire. But then you will say, this point is also given there, but then you will say, but then Mughal authority continued till 1857. True. It continued, the answer is given there only in NCERT. 1739, Mughals practically ceased to be an all-India empire. Practically now they were not an all-India empire. Their game was over. But then also, their existence continued till 1857. You will see the last line given in the NCERT. That their existence continued till 1857 because the various power contenders in India found it very useful to hide behind the name of Mughals and then carry on their activities. The various power contenders in India, English, Maratha, they all found it very beneficial to hide behind the name of Mughals and carry on their activities. You will see Shah Alam II. Shah Alam II, he becomes the ruler in 1759. He comes into power in He becomes the Mughal ruler in 1759. He was never in power. Then he starts running away from his wazir. 1765, he becomes the pensioner of East India Company after Battle of Buxar. And then English made him to sign all their achievements. Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. So they were saying, we have taken it from the Mughal Empire. He is the boss of the country. 1772, Marathas brought this man to Delhi. Mughal Emperor, not this man, Mughal Emperor. They brought Mughal Emperor to Delhi. And now Mughal Emperor became the pensioner of Marathas. This was a challenge to English. Because now Marathas will do the same thing. They will also occupy the territories and on the name of Mughal Emperor. English became active. 1803 they occupied Delhi. And from 1803 to 1857, Mughals were under the protection of East India Company. So now, what is this law of connectivity in this entire paragraph? Aurangzeb died 1707. Administration was efficient. Respect of dynasty. Army was strong. Although Mughal Empire was facing financial crisis. Now what happened in this background? This is the background 1707. But then Bahadur Shah I created financial bankruptcy. This you have to remember. This is the gist of the entire first heading. Bahadur Shah I created financial bankruptcy. You have to remember how. Then comes Jahandar Shah. From here comes the new element, kingmaker. And from here starts the power struggle between the nobles. Power struggle between the nobles. This led to Aruxia. Administration is paralyzed at all levels. Administration, see, connected. Administration is paralyzed at all levels. Acute financial crisis. Soldiers are revolting and mutinous. Everything is over. Efficiency of administration is over. Respect is over. And the strength of army is over. And then Muhammad Shah. The nobles started departing. He was such a useless man. Departing of the nobles. Dareness of Marathas and foreign invaders. They gave the final blow to the Mughal Empire. This will be the gist which you have to keep it in your file. Okay, this is the thing which you have to remember, okay, how finally Mughal Empire collapsed. Thank you. So friends, this will be my approach. CQ, which will give you the confidence. One page. One page. This connectivity will give you the concept. Now you consolidate it. Digest. This one page you digest. So connectivity will create concept. And once you consolidate, connectivity, concept and consolidation will give you immense confidence. And that confidence will lead to your success in any examination, including UPSC. This is the approach which I will do all the NCERTs. I will do myself. History I will do. But it will take time, sir. Don't get impatient on the website. You will get all the videos. The launching price is 2100 for history, in which you will get ancient India, medieval India, modern India. Culture is excluded. Launching price is 2100. Culture is completely excluded from here. This is the promotional prize which you are giving. But this will give you immense confidence. History I'll do, I'll finish. And this is for those people who still don't have a confidence. This is for those people who still don't have a confidence. This is for the beginners who will make the plan as I told in the introductory video. And once you do it at this grassroots level, and then you take the big books, sir, you will do miracle. You will do miracle. This is what is called as importance of direction. If you remove Vibhushan from Ramayana war, Ram would not have been able to get victory against Ravan. Direction. In the killing of Kumkar, in the killing of Meghnad, in the killing of Ravan, who is giving direction to Ram? Vibhishan. You remove Krishna from Mahabharat battle, Arjun would have been beaten on the first day. Direction. First you develop this. You come from the hinterland of this country, you come here. I have seen so many people suffering. You are not able to digest NCERT, you jump on the big books, you don't get confidence. And in this way you waste a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And I know the pain of middle class, lower middle class. They cannot bear it forever. They cannot. So in the first phase, you have to work out in the same way. I'll do history. This is the first part, history, modern India, medieval India, ancient India. Module, the entire module, 2100. Then I'll do polity. Polity, basics. Advanced phase requires expertise. And then you can join the coaching institutes of your will. Although I am attached to Vajiram also, I am attached to ICRA IS also. So it's of your choice. And all the coachings are good, all the teachers are good. This should be crystal clear. It's your talent what you learn from the coaching or a teacher. So I am not teaching advanced phase. No, foundation. This is the foundation course. This is the NCERT course which is called as Dwaj